In this video, I'll show you how to use OneDrive on your system. If you are using Windows 10 or Windows 11, then you should have something like this, a folder that looks like this with the OneDrive icon. But however, if you don't see that folder, you can search for OneDrive. When you search for OneDrive, you see the folder, this particular one here, not this one, this particular folder here, this type. So that is the OneDrive that we're working with. But however, if you search for it and you can't find it, I'll show you how to download it, of course. So if you want to download it, you head to this URL. The link will be in the description section. Then you download. You can see Windows 10 or Windows 11. Good news, if your computer uses Windows 10 or 11, OneDrive is inbuilt. Yeah, that's what I was saying. If you're using Windows 10 or Windows 11, we have OneDrive inbuilt, just like I've shown you now. Or however, if you can't find it or you need to reinstall, then you can head to this URL and click this link to download. When you click it to download, you install it. Go ahead and install it. After installing it, it should appear here as a folder here. If it doesn't appear, then you can search for it, right? Like I showed you, just search for OneDrive. Then this particular icon, you download, you click on this particular one, then it opens the OneDrive. So the good thing about this particular one that we just downloaded, the one I'm showing you right now, is it's on your system, right? Just like a folder that's on your system, like what I showed you here. You click on it, it's like a folder, like your regular folders. So this OneDrive is inbuilt a folder on your system, meaning you can move your files in here, you can create directories, you can create your Word document or your PowerPoint, whatever document you can move in here or create it here, and it gets synced to your OneDrive. So like these files I have here now, this is my OneDrive directory, and my files are in here. Whenever I put any file in here, it gets synced to my OneDrive. When I carry my phone, I can access that file because I have OneDrive on my phone. So any file that I put on my phone in my OneDrive folder, right, it appears here in this folder on my system. And any file as well that I put in this OneDrive folder here, it also appears on my phone when I access my OneDrive on my phone. That's the good thing about it. Your files are synced. Now let's talk about the different status that our files can have. When we are working with our files in OneDrive on our system, we want to know the type of status that our files have. When you come look under the status column here, you can see the different status against all these our files. Let's look at them one by one. This first status, this particular icon here, when we have this icon against any of our files or folder, it simply means that this particular file or folder is synced to our OneDrive and it's also available on our system. Yeah, synced to your OneDrive and also available on your system. You can access that particular file or folder even when you are not connected to the internet. If I off my internet connection, I can access whatever file that is inside this folder. That's because it's available both on the device, on my system, and also it's available online. Then when you have any folder or file that has this particular icon that looks like a cloud, it means that that file or that folder is only available online. If I off my internet connection, I try to access the file, I can't. You have to be connected to the internet before you can access that file. And in most time, it has to download the file first. So assuming if I enter here now, I have this particular file called document, and the status is showing that it's only available online. If I hover on it, you see availability status shows available when online. If I put off my internet connection, I can't access this file. However, if my internet connection is on, I can access it. Let's try it and see. I'll just quickly put off my internet connection, disconnect. Then let's try and access this file and see what happens. You can see. Make sure you are connected to the internet, then try again. We can't download the file the next time you're on. We can download the file the next time you're online. Let's go back online. If you are offline, you cannot access those type of files. But let's go back online. Let's connect back and try and see. When I come, I double click on it. It downloads the file, then opens it. You can see the file has been opened, and also the status of the file changed. It's no more that cloud icon. It's showing the status that is available both on the device and also it's available online. When you have the file that is only available online and you try to open it, it will first of all download the file first. It will download it into your system before opening it. So when it does that, the status is going to change from that cloud icon to the icon that shows it's available online and on your system. That is it. Let me just cancel this. Then the next status I'd like to show you is this status that looks like this X, this red X here. When this happens, it means that either there's an error in backing up that your file or folder to OneDrive, or maybe you purposely exempted that file or folder from being backed up. Like in this case for mine, this particular folder, Adobe, I exempted it from being backed up online. I don't want it to back up by itself, so I exempted it. Then in that case, any file that is in this folder will not be backed up. So you might have this particular icon showing on any of your file or folder. If that happens, it means that there's an error in backing up that file or folder, or you exempted that file or that folder from being backed up. Then the next status I would like to show us, let me create a folder to illustrate that. Just call this test. You can see below here, see the icon here, this loading, this icon that looks like it's loading. This shows that this is pending. If I hover, you can see sync pending. That means it's not yet synced to our OneDrive. It's pending. Whenever you create a new folder like this or create a new file, it will most of the time show sync pending. But by the time you add a file to this folder, this particular icon will change. Let's add a file to this folder and see. Let's just create a new file. Let's create a text document. You can see at first the status shows that loading icon. However, the status has changed and it's now synced to our OneDrive, but it's available still on our device and also available on our OneDrive. When you create a file for the first time, it will first of all show that pending loading icon. Then after it has synced, the status changed to this. And that's because I'm connected to the internet. If I'm not connected to the internet and I create a new file, it will still show that pending icon, right? So until I connect to the internet before it syncs that file to the internet, to the OneDrive rather. You can create another new file. You can see it has that status of pending, then give it some little seconds. It's now going to, the status will change, meaning it's already synced. When I carry my phone and go to my OneDrive, I'm going to find these files here. If I create any file on my phone, it will appear here automatically. If I create any file here on my OneDrive here and pick up my phone, I'll see that file that I created. If I delete it from here, it will be deleted from there. And also there are times that you would want to save space from your system. Like these two files now, they are available both on my system and also on my OneDrive. Assuming if I just want it to be available on my OneDrive and not available on my system, probably the file is very large and I don't access the file often, I can just delete it from my system and just leave it only on the OneDrive. How do you do that? You just click on the file, right click on it, then you'll see free up space. Click on free up space. It's going to remove that file from your system and your space will be freed up. You'll have more space on your system. You can see the status of this have changed. If I hover on it, it's showing me availability status of available when online. I can do that to multiple files. I can do that to a whole folder. I can just free up space. Then this particular file, they are not, although I'm seeing them physically, visually here on my system, but they are not taking up any space. They are not available on this system. They are only available on the OneDrive. So this is just a reflection of what's on the OneDrive, but it's not on the system. It's not on the system memory. If I want to access it, and I double click it, we first of all download it first onto the system memory before it opens it up. So if you want to free up space, you can just simply click on the file that you want to free up space and just click on free up space. Then this particular file is not available on your system. It's only available on your OneDrive. If you go to your OneDrive, you are going to see the file there. But physically, visually on your system memory space, it's not there. It's not there on your system memory space. That's the different status that you have for your files. If I go back to this my folder here, this folder I created, you can see the status has changed to this cloud icon. So whatever file I create, I put into this my OneDrive folder, it gets synced if I'm connected to the internet. And one thing I would like to make mention of, you have to also ensure that your internet is not set to a metered network. If you go to your Wi-Fi or whatever network internet connection you're connected to, just click on properties, this icon here, or you right click on it and you see properties, click on properties, then ensure that, see this metered connection, ensure that this is turned off. If it's turned on, your files it's not going to sync, your files won't sync, because metered connection is trying to save you, control your data usage. When you turn it on, it will control your data usage to ensure that things are not being synced in the background. However, if you want your files to be automatically synced to your OneDrive through your OneDrive folder on your system, you ensure that this is turned off. Let it be turned off, so whenever you create a folder, you create a file, or you add any file to that your OneDrive folder on your system, it automatically syncs it. So take note of that, very important. So any file that I put in this my OneDrive folder, any file at all, if I just carry any file, drag and drop here, or create any folder here in this OneDrive folder, it will automatically sync, and I will see it on my different devices. So I carry my iPad, carry my phone, I will see that file. And any file as well that I create on my OneDrive from my phone on my iPad, I will see that file appear here in real time, provided I'm connected to the internet. That's the different status that you have for your files. So next time you see all these icons, you know what they stand for. You know how to free up space from your system by still allowing your file to be on OneDrive, or however not available on the system, or being available on the system and also OneDrive, or maybe if there's an error in any of your file syncing, you can dictate that by seeing this icon, or if the file is pending, if it's still pending to be synced, then you can also notice that as well. That is how you work with your files and view the different status reports for your files.